conveyor rail. Oh, I can't see what this is interfering with. Oh, it'll be I actually see it. Yeah, it'll be the it's overlaying where it needs to place the automation wire. So I can't have it in one of these locations. That's fine. I can easily move that automation though. Frankly, I could have that sunk into the ground if I wanted to, just to keep it out of the way. And if it's going to be in the way, I'm inclined to do that. That won't be a problem to me at all. I can have this move down, and then an automation wire move across, and then up. And that'll sink the whole thing down a little bit. I could take it even further down if I wanted to, or just move it back a bit. In fact, you know what? Cancel this. I'll move the whole thing away, build the conveyor rails I want, and then rebuild that. I think that would probably be best. Miss Badgerine, hi Aavak. I just finished catching up on your CK3 VODs and saw you were streaming another favourite game. Thanks for keeping me company this evening. Oh, you're more than welcome. Thanks for keeping me company this evening. I do have volcanoes. I've got a copper volcano and an actual volcano. I've got quite a few options for taming heat-producing devices in order to get a load of heat. Get a load of like steam and the likes. Quite a few. How's this thing doing? Not so great. Also not so great. I'm going to leave that as it is for now. I know a lot of my power problems are because there's oil in the system, but... Look at you. 19 degrees. A bunch of this should be leaving shortly. I imagine we're going to start seeing the average temperature drop. We're not, actually. Let's have a look in this area. Oh! Oh, wow! The average temperature here is positive. Oof. That's scary. That's quite scary, actually. Well, I'm going to have to start sinking these deeper and deeper and moving them further and further out over time. It would be better if I had something that was capable of much colder temperatures, because then I could be really aggressive with it, but alas. Is there anything else I need to research? Kind of think that I've researched everything. Yep, I pretty much researched everything. So I could then, for the sake of having this whole, there is no research selected, I could just get rid of the research buildings. And yeah, sure, let's do that. Never going to say no to 3 tons of coal. That will power our base for a little while. It won't do a lot, but it will power the base. Right, okay, so shipping. We will allow this to exit on, I guess, this side. Make this out of steel, make sure. Shipping rail will check the temperature from here. Make this out of... No, this doesn't need to be out of steel. Just needs to be out of something that can handle the heat. And since it doesn't have an overheat temperature, it's literally just the melting point of this material, which is shockingly, shockingly high. So I don't need to worry about it. And then I need... So if it's not below a certain temperature, it can't exit. It just goes back through again for another run. And I'm going to say that the flow of this should be dictated by the presence of this bridge. Because at that point, there really is only one direction it can move in. So we'll deconstruct that. Get the bridge in place. Like so. And then the rest of this can be filled up. All the way across. We'll see how neat this will be. Oh, wow, that will actually be incredibly neat. I approve. I approve so much. Every single bit of it has been used. That's better than it was before. I'm deeply happy. Deeply. Deeply happy by this. Because I'm not going to lie, I would have been a little bit annoyed if that hadn't lined up, but I would have lived with it. But it would have been itching at the back of my brain the whole time. Right, if we have any water over here, if this is below 50, then it needs to send out a true signal. This, if it's the atmosphere, is below 20 kilos, then it sends out a true signal. This controls the water flow into this area. So yeah, if it's below 20 tons of air pressure, then I would happily accept more water into the system. But it has to be below 20 tons of air pressure and below 50 kilos of water at the furthest point. Otherwise, it's just that it's so cold in there that all the water is as water. So there needs to be an AND gate. There we go. Right, crack on then. Let's get this done. And once that's done, we'll sweep all of this nonsense out and set the system back up again. Now, at this point, we're going to want this to go down and out and into a cooled down area below. To that end, time to excavate said cooled out area below. Cooled down area below. Now I can do all sorts of things to make this a cool area. When I'm going to be keeping this controlled, temperature controlled, via the presence of the coolant system, which is presently polluted water. So I'm just going to have that polluted water run through here and try to chill it down to whatever temperature. Try to equalize the temperature. Over here, I don't think it needs to be a very large area, but likewise, I kind of want once again, if something is being dumped into this area, for it to stay there until it is a sufficiently low level for it to exit. I don't want it to linger. To that end... To that end, I wonder if it might not be better for me to use liquid here rather than like metal tiles or hydrogen and temp shift plates or anything like that. I could use hydrogen. I could use temp shift plates. I could use anything as long as it doesn't get too hot for the polluted water moving through it. Yeah, I could. Yeah, hydrogen temperature plates would absolutely work. How much hydrogen do I have available? Because pretty much all my hydrogen is coming from down here right now. And is being bottled and occasionally brought up and added to this room to increase the atmosphere in here. I'll probably stop when it's like, I don't know, 10 kilos or something. Not easily going to be able to do that down here, though. I will need some room for this to be able to exit. But whatever I do, I'm going to need to build the shipping rails first, I fancy. Now, I will want probably to have a conveyor bridge in much the same way, dictating the orientation of movement. And down here, to be the output point, something similar. I'm not sure we're going to get as nice of a design as we did previously. We can still try for it, but it doesn't really matter. We can pop this one here just for the time being. Pop down some more conveyor rail. Or I have the exit point over on this side. Is the other way of doing it. Might need to. In fact, sure, we could have it exit out on that, so that wouldn't be necessarily an issue for me. I don't want to have to make too much of a system over here. How much iron ore do I have to make this? Enough, apparently. We are going to bleed out every little bit of heat energy out of this. Now, this will actually... All of the heat that I'm taking out of this is heat that is going in here. First, it goes in there passively by just dumping the heat into the steam. But secondly, it gets in there by heating up the transfer medium down here, which then needs to be cooled by this aqua tuner. Ultimately, that heat gets put into something, which eventually gets put into the steam in here, which then eventually turns into power. We're just being extremely, extremely efficient with our heat extraction. Suffering Scribble, thank you very much for the prime there. Diolch yn fawr, mate. And yeah, I'm cooling the regolith to enough for it to enter the base. Ultimately, I want regolith collection to be automated by a sweepy. So the more I can do down here, the better. Tonk. And then I want thermal sensor. Tonk. This one's a fairly easy one. Only thing that isn't easy is I need to power it. I think. Yes. It makes me sad. So sad. The levels of my sadness. Are shockingly vast. For 10 bloody watts as well. Okay, for 10 watts, I can easily hook that up to a very simple little thing. Annoying, though it may be. I can easily have that running off a little transformer like this. How much power does this draw? So little. Alright. You're hired. Oh, no, no, no. Now, I'm going to want this place to be insulated. Quite insulated, actually. To the point that I'm probably going to go with double insulation on this side. There's a big part of me that's thinking I should have double insulation on this side as well, actually. This one, not as much, but definitely on this side, probably isn't a bad idea. Ultimately, then, we'll have double insulation down here, too. As for the shovels, yeah, at this point the base is fed off the corpses of the shovels as they die from old age / starvation. I do try to feed them. Try. Right now I haven't fed them in a long time, and that sucks. But well, you know, their population will be steady, I believe. Yeah, there are 74 critters in there. That's pretty much what it was before. They are... See, the thing with shovels is we are grooming them so much that they still lay an egg despite the fact that they're in such a dire food situation. So we're making them happy enough that they just don't care that they're starving. And they have kids anyway. They will sustain their population right now. When we feed them, they grow their population. And no, I don't feel good about myself for this. I don't. I am a bad Aavak, and I feel bad. This will eventually be the output point. Right, so if the temperature of the regolith is below, I'm going to say we've dumped enough passive heat into it. Because what we don't want to do is whatever temperature I want to take the steam in this room up to before the steam engine kicks in. So 130 in this case. If it's below 130... then I want it to leave. I want to get rid of it at that point. And when I turn that back up to a higher amount so I can get more bang for buck out of my steam generators, I'll raise that in turn. I only want it in here when it can give heat to the steam, not when it's going to take it. Because if it drops below the temperature of the steam in there, let's say the regolith came in at 270, but very quickly got to like 150, but the steam was at 170 to start with. I was just trying to get it to 180. Let's just pull numbers out of thin air. I'm not actually doing any calculations with this, but you know, just to illustrate the example. At 150, it's taking heat away from the steam. The steam is giving its heat to the regolith. That's not what I want. I don't want it to reach equilibrium. I want the regolith to dump as much heat into it as I can get, and then to go down here. And that's where it will live for the rest of forever until it's dumped all of its heat out. And I've sucked out every last little bit, and the regolith is like at 20 degrees. And then it gets booted out into the rest of the base. While it's in there, provided we have power, this will provide a decent amount of cooling. And on that note, we now need to set that up as well. So this is all insulated, but it's at this point that I want it to be just a regular pipe. I don't want igneous rock. I want granite or sedimentary rock because it is thermally reactive. And I want it to dump out all of that delicious, delicious heat into whatever is in this room. Whether it is hydrogen or some sort of liquid. There is no way we're going to have enough oil to make this happen, so don't. Ah, no. The worst of days has arrived. Wait, wait, wait. Ha-ha! Take that, fate. You can't trick me. I've played Snake far too many times. What we'll do is we'll break off here, enter this pipe section. Lots of this pipe section will actually be changed to tungsten, so I can move that heat around a little bit better. But then it'll branch up and connect over here, like so. Tonk and so tonk. Only we don't want that bit. I'm gonna have to wait for them to finish building that up first, but it'll happen. Now, what we're gonna put in here, I really don't know. It could just be hydrogen. It could be liquids. I could fill it with liquids. But what liquid would we use is the question then. Water isn't a good medium. I mean, well, that being said, water is good. This is the thing. Water has a very good specific heat capacity. So it requires a lot of heat energy to change its temperature. It's just... It's not got a very high heat range. I would never want the water in this room to turn into steam. That would be bad. I'm not sure how well the game would model the sudden massive explosion of pressure in here if all of this, which was full, turned to steam at the same time. It would just... I mean, realistically, it would just explode. It would just shatter that rock. Because that does not look like very, very dense material. This looks like dense material, but even that would bend and distort. Petroleum would be good because it can handle heat higher than the regolith would be in. What about oil? Maybe. But it changes temperature quickly, but it can move a lot more temperature as well. Petroleum far less. It changes temperature quickly, but it is conductive and it's probably hotter. It can probably handle heat much higher than we're ever likely to see in here. That's the trade-off there. That would be the trade-off. If we filled this place with petroleum. Well, that's going to take a long time for me to do. So we struggle with petroleum. I mean, how much have we got? We haven't even got a full tank with of the stuff yet. You got a little bit down there, but not much. Even if we took all of the petroleum out of our current cooling system, we would come nowhere near the amount of petroleum we would need to fill that much of a cavity with petroleum. It's not happening. That is a beautiful dream, but that is all it is. A dream. I could backfill the room with solid metal, yeah. Or, in fact, any other material, frankly. I could backfill the room with any material I wanted. The only issue is down here with his a little bit of oxygen there. That said, I could burrow down on this side, expose this to the vacuum of space, and just let nature take its course and empty out everything and just continue doing the rest of the build from the space side. That's also an option. That's 100% an option, actually. Right, at this point, it stays in the loop unless the temperature is below 20 degrees. And then it's allowed out. Okay, I think we've got our plan. I don't think these conveyor bridges have an overheat temperature, do they? Nope. What about you? No. So it really doesn't matter what they're made of. They can't overheat. Can this overheat? Nope. So nothing in this room can actually overheat. You'd need temperatures capable of simply straight up melting copper in order to do any damage in there. I could do a layer of whatever and then hydrogen, yeah. Absolutely. I'm tempted to do hydrogen, honestly. Rather than try to fill it slowly with petroleum. I'm somewhat tempted. What are you doing? Hello? Oh, there we go. But I am tempted to do petroleum in here. Once it's vacuumed out, I could have just a little gas vent drawing hydrogen from up here. As it's emptied in there, it could just be pushed down into this room. There's that. Or honestly, I could just fill it with metal tiles, a zigzag of metal tiles. I wonder if I've got any diamond. Have I mined out any diamond yet? Would diamond be in there? No. Consumable ore? Well, no, diamond isn't consumable ore. That's silly. Miscellaneous? No, I've got 16 tons of diamond. Solid steel? No. The Gucci Gang. We are currently on 6 votes for Demon's Brew and 3 for the Dapper Drink. So we're on course to coffee field efficiency for the next tea break, yes. Oh, Ainen, bad news. The eco server is currently dead. Good news, Aavak streaming. Hi, folks. Hey, Ainen. I'm sorry the eco server's down. Is the eco server proper down, as in it is full on broke, or is it just a case that we need a bit of fixing on it? 16 tons of diamond does sound insane, but you know what we could do with that? Because diamond has some amazing properties. Let's go and have a look at the properties of diamond. It has a specific heat capacity of 0.5. Very little energy is required to change a gram of this material by an entire degree, it has got an 80 DTU transfer rate. It can move an awful lot. Oh no! File corruption killed the save? Oh, that is so terribly sad. I'm so sorry to hear that, gang. Man, I haven't been on the Eco server in a couple of days, and now I never can get back there. Such sadness. Much sadness. Now, there is a tiny, very small yay in favor of copper. And the reason is that we've got a copper volcano. So technically we've got infinite copper. And if I build a system around said copper volcano to leach the heat of that copper in order to create steam, then I could run a positive... I mean, you see... We could use copper as the transmission medium in this room. Once it's all vented out. Or I can just go with diamond. I mean, you know, it's one bling for another bling. It's resource abundance bling versus literal bling. Let me know. Let me know, chat. Where do your hearts lie? What is the ridiculous project that you want me to complete the most? Also, I can 100% just dig my way through over here if I want to, and then eventually bring that. I'll just bring that down eventually anyway. But as long as there's bling, I'm happy. Plain seeker, I want copper. You see, the copper volcano lives all the way down here somewhere. Right there, I believe. Yeah, copper volcano. Just above the frozen core, which is amusing. We could 100% set that up and extract out an enormous amount of heat. Let's have a quick look at it. Do we know anything about this? It produces 8.8 kilos at 2,000 degrees Celsius. For 41 seconds, every 657 seconds. That's not great. Let's do a little bit of calculations, shall we? It has been ages since I've used like a Windows calculator or anything. I don't need... Does Windows even have a calculator anymore? Who knows? Of course it does. Right, so what are we playing with? What are the numbers that we've got in front of us right now? We've got 8.8. Well, actually, let's do it in grams because I'm fairly certain this is going to come out to grams. So 8,800 grams of copper for 41 seconds every 657 seconds. So if we divide that by, we're producing that much a second every 41 for 41 seconds.